Hey guys, welcome to What's the Talk? It's CGTN's first debate show. I'm Yang Shimeng. What you're seeing now is our special stage in the metaverse where our guests from all around the world will be joining us, meeting each other, and debating. So thank you so much for tuning in. We are currently streaming on various media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Weibo, WeChat, Bilibili, Yangshipin, and of course, CGTN's official website. And today we also have many audiences joining us here in the metaverse. Welcome you all. Now, feel free to join our discussions and share your opinions anytime with the hashtag What's the Talk. We are very much looking forward to hear your thoughts. As always, we are very honored to have 6 guests joining us online for the debate, 3 old friends and 3 new friends. Now, from left to right, let's meet Kate Kaligava from Belarus. We've met on other shows before, but this is her first time to What's the Talk. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Abby. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. So my name is Kate. I come from Belarus. I'm a Tsinghua University graduate student, a media enthusiast, and video content creator. Pleased to be here with you tonight.
Welcome to join us. And then let's welcome Alex Gary from France, also a first-timer.
Yes, hello,
Hi,
I'm
Alex.
Alexander from France. I'm an IT engineer, I work in video game, and I really love video game, travel, sport, and everything interesting.
I'm so glad to have you here, Alex. Welcome. And now let's welcome Anne John. She is an influencer online. She had made a lot of great arguments in the debates before. Welcome back, Anne.
Hi, everyone. I'm your OO friend, Anne, and I'm currently in the United States. And I'm a social media influencer. The most important thing is that I love traveling and I love social media.
Welcome. And also let's welcome Michał Bodzecki from Poland. He has been with us from the very first episode, always takes the neutral position. Hi, Michał.
Hi everyone. I'm glad to be back. Yeah, I always take the neutral positions because I just love the debate. I love to hear both sides. Yeah, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm a procurement specialist in a global pharmaceutical company. But in my free time, I love to travel. So I usually live in Poland. Right now, I'm in Spain traveling. So I'm thrilled to hear the debate today.
Welcome back. All right. And then let's welcome Keegan Strand from Canada. First time to the show. Hi, Keegan.
Hello, yeah. So I'm Keegan from Canada. I'm 24 years old and I currently reside in Beijing. I just finished my major in Chinese literature and I'm studying my master's at Fudan in the fall in Chinese history and culture. I'm also an avid traveler and take a large interest in Chinese ceramics.
Welcome. And last but not least, Enoch Wang from Hong Kong, China, also a wonderful debater since the first episode. Welcome back, Enoch.
Hi everyone, my name is Enoch Wang. I'm from Hong Kong, China. After graduating from Tsinghua Sportsman College program, I now work at the university as the senior manager for online education international development. Another old friend. I also love social media, I love traveling. But if you are traveling, don't use them because they ruin it. I'll tell you more later. Thank you.
Okay, we know your site now. Well, so glad to have you all here, guys, and looking forward to see your debate. And today, I think Enoch just told you a little bit, but yeah, we are going to talk about the impact of social media on traveling. You know, the young generation, we live on social media, and now is the peak season for travel. So many people look for travel advices and holiday inspiration on social media. But at the same time, some say that social media is ruining the beauty of travel because, you know, if it's filtered pictures online, the reality might not match the expectations. And also, sometimes people spend more time sharing their journey online than actually enjoying it. So is social media a traveler's friend or foe? That's our topic today. Well, the debaters have all picked their stance. As we can see, the lineup is here. Kate and Alex think social media is helping travelers. They are team friend. Keegan and Enoch are against it. They are in team foe. Well, Anne and Michał are reserving views for now. They are on the neutral side, DMZ zone. So yeah, as usual, we did a survey on social media beforehand. Now let's take a look at a poll first. Well, the results are really close here, but Team Friend wins with slightly more votes. We received about 3,000 votes, and 54% of the voters regard social media as a traveler's friend. Does this give you more pressure, Team Foe?
Not really.
Not
Not
really.
really?
There are way more people
Cool.
for us to convince, which is good.
Great, great. I love that. Turn the pressure into motivation. So yeah, Team Foe will start from you in the first round, to give you a head start. All right. Now let's take a look at the debate rules.
Our rules are as follows. Each team consists of 2 players. The oppositions will battle it out during the first round to attract the neutral team to join their sides in order to battle together in the second round. And Team Neutral has the opportunity to ask both oppositions questions after their statements. Round 2 is a free debate, and everyone gets to raise their questions. But please do remember that the individuals in the neutral position have the right to turn cold. Therefore, they can still change their minds after the second round, based on what impressed them the most.
All right, so that was the rule. Are you all clear about it?
Yep.
Super clear.
Yep. Cool. So to those of you who are watching, you can also get involved by sharing with us your ideas, concerns, questions, or stories. We welcome all different views. Just comment below and let us know. Now, teams, get ready. Social media, friend, or foe. We start with Team Foe. Time limit, 2 minutes for each person. And after the first arguments from both sides, the neutrals can ask questions. All right. So Team Foe, Keegan takes the lead.
Okay. So our first argument is on crowds and over-tourism. Now, crowds and over-tourism are something we're all familiar with. Many world-famous sites often see large crowds throughout the year, and under the influence of social media, many more places are popularized as they become trending. However, I might ask, are we aware of the effect that it has on the local attractions and environment? Not too far from my hometown, a summer trend forced a sunflower farm to ban all visitors. After some photos went viral, everyday Instagrammers, with their lack of creativity and mob mentality, swarmed in from all over to capture the same trending spot. An estimated 7,000 cars arriving from all directions were parked along the highway, resulting in many traffic accidents as swarms of Instagrammers flooded into the farm. People said they could even see mothers and fathers with their kids in their strollers pushing it across the 4-lane highway. The farm staff, overwhelmed, were ignored by many of the tourists and were even met with aggression as they began to ask everyone to leave, many of them trespassers who had not paid the ticket. The police had to be called to disperse the crowd, and the farm was closed off to all visitors in the future. So over-tourism has also put wildlife in harm numerous times, and not just local tourist attractions. It has even directly resulted in death. Safari tourists have urged not to share their rare wildlife photos and selfies on social media, as South African experts have informed them that poachers are using the geolocations on these photos to track and kill endangered species, especially for the illegal sale of ivory. And now a more direct cause of death took place in Vermont. So a moose was swimming across Lake Champlain from New York to South Hero, Vermont, and drowned because onlookers had crowded the shore to take the animal's pictures. The moose had made it to land, but as it felt threatened by the large group of people on the shore, it receded back into the lake. And these are only a few of the many cases of tourists and social media disturbing the peace and causing harm to wildlife throughout various ecosystems. Thank you.
Wow, time's up.
Yep.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Keegan. And first speaker from Team Friend, Alex.
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
So that was very emotional, Keegan, but okay, I get it. So social media for me, it allows people to anticipate and plan their holidays. If you know how to use them, you will check carefully comments and photos, and you will not be tricked by their other ideas you can find. You can find your future destination. That's my first point. My second point is that it allows people to explore deeper and find places that they will never find it without checking on social media. Because you cannot go to see local guides like before. It's nowadays, it's not like this. And my third point will be that it's fast and immediate. No delay to search what you want. You can plan your holiday in just one afternoon. You call your friend, you make a voice call, or you say come to your place. You say, okay, this place is right here. I think it's really interesting, but I will check another social media or website because I'm not sure it's actually a good photo, because there's many good photo. You don't trust everything you see on the internet. Of course, you need to have many sources. And For example, like if you want to go to dive in the sea, you will have to go to check the website of the diving. You will check all the comments. You will check on Google all the stars on Google, also all the comments, and you will check on Instagram. Sometimes I will post some pictures of people, and people will say, "Oh, this is good. It's cheap. Quality is really kind and good." So I think it's a really good point. It's a really good thing to plan your holiday like this. And it's really fast. Before, you need maybe to take a week, and you will need to call all the hotels, call all the telephone call you need to make. It was crazy and long. Nowadays, we don't even need to go to see a guide. You just check online whatever you want. And that is, I think, the most important point. Then, of course, you need to check carefully. That is another thing, but mostly nowadays, yaos know how to do.
All right. Thank you, Alex. And now, Anne, Mahal, each of you can only ask one question, so think carefully. It will help you make the decision in the next round. Anne?
Yes. Okay, then I'll go first. I actually have a question for the full team. So speaking of the problem of overcrowded tourism, do you think that this problem is caused by social media or the lack of awareness of being self-disciplined? Let's say if the tourists strictly follow the rules of the park, and the park set a limited capacity or have a more strict policy, would the overcrowded problem be improved?
I feel like the problem with this is many small local locations do not have the ability to control the crowds, or may not have those policies in place. They might not be expecting a large crowd. Like if you think of a small, not even a country town in a village, and you have a sunflower field there, and they might have visitors that come by, local visitors that come by in the summer, and then one person on social media throws up a picture, and out of nowhere they have, over 20, 30,000 visitors in a day. Places like that aren't prepared for such large crowds, and they aren't opening for crowds like that. They're opening for the local community and not expecting for people from all over. There's also a reason in America for people coming in from America and from all over just to take some pictures. So I think it's not really about their lack of awareness or lack of crowd control. It's social media blowing up many small locations and then overcrowding these areas, especially in Canada where lots of places are more nature oriented. They don't want to put up these big commercial tourist sites, and it's more of an attraction for locals and less of a big social media hotspot.
Thank you.
All right, Mahal, what's your question? Who do you want to ask?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask the full team as well to expand on this issue, because some small businesses really exploded with popularity, and also spots like this, as you said, just due to social media. But at the same time, how would you recommend those businesses to promote themselves, if not through social media? Like, what is the answer here? Because if you have a business and it's based on tourism, you really want the place to blow up in a way. Maybe not blow up as much as you said, the very tourist spot over there, but still just attract tourists. How would you recommend those businesses should attract tourists?
I would say definitely social media does help to attract tourists, but we have to be careful of how we use social media and how we promote these places. If we're talking about how this, in the points that we're talking about, does social media help travelers? I feel like it affects travelers in overcrowding places. It may help local communities, because there are many cases even in China where boosts in tourism have helped the local community and boosted the economy, but it's not necessarily good for the travelers themselves. I think that it influences the experience, and it commercializes a lot of places. Like even places I was in Shanghai, places that were once not as popular, because of recent years of social media, have become very, very commercialized. They've almost lost their former beauty, and many people are actually switching to other places instead.
Right, thank you.
All right, thank you guys. We have another round for this section. Now let's move on to the second speakers from both teams. Enoch from Team Pho.
Should I start?
Yep.
Okay, so there's no doubt the internet or social media has made the world smaller, and the possibility of travel is just literally clicks away or comments away, as our opposition mentioned. What we want to say is that it is not without a price. right? We can read comments, we can read different reviews, but the upshot is that we are only choosing where we go and when we travel based on really unrealistic pictures on filters and pictures that are very heavily edited we see online. But the social media are really affecting how we behave when we get there as well. We copy others because we look on trips and we spend most of our time traveling, editing pictures rather than really enjoying the moments. Social media, as my friend has mentioned, has caused over-tourism of places and just to get that Instagrammable picture. So I want to touch and add further 2 points in my final minutes. One is that the algorithm and social media is really making us to do all this other behavior. For people who want to make it big on social media, to get likes and followers, they keep posting the same thing again and again, and it's really uninspiring. We've seen all this picture, the same picture 1,000 times from different people, but from the same angle. Yes, we can find new places and it's fast and immediate, but at what price? Second is that social media create this checklist mentality. WeChat, Instagram, and other social media has become a publicly accessible bucket list that you need to visit, feeling this fear of missing out. Someone have done it, I have to do it too. And we're trying too hard to impress everyone with our list. Having this, been there and done that, and to prove it to the world. There was a time when holiday mean relaxation and traveling mean exploration. But today, the constant need to document everything, every experience have forever altered the way we travel. And as I want to end with this, the author of the prophet say,
Right.
travel and tell no one, live
Thank you,
true love
Enoch.
story and tell no one, live happily.
We'll have more opportunity to say your arguments.
Beautiful things. That's it. Thank you.
All right. So team friend, Kate,
Can I
what's
start
your
now?
argument? Yep. Go ahead.
So our point is that everything we see online should be treated skeptically. It's not just about traveling and social media, but about information on the internet. So we cannot blame social media for a picture, for misleading or ruining our travel experience, as a picture or a video is an image of that place, but not that place itself. And you must understand that when you're planning your trip and having some expectations, people blame social media, yet they are being very unrealistic themselves. Our second point is that there is nothing wrong with social media for travel as soon as you go traveling for the experience and for the travel spirit, but not for a picture or fear of missing out. So, for example, when I went to Switzerland and we did the mountain climbing with my family, some people just took a picture and left without even looking the beautiful scenery around them or noticing something. So, in our opinion, some people are just hyper-focused on taking Instagrammable pictures rather than just going traveling for the exploration discoveries and enjoying the moment. So a few weeks ago, for example, when I went to Sanya, I decided that I'm going to put my phone away and I didn't post on stories or my moments at all, unless I went back to Beijing. And it was a very enjoyable trip. So it's 100% your own choice, whether you choose to do it for the experience or for the Instagram picture. Our second argument is that it's not social media that is ruining tourism. It's mass tourism which is doing that. The thing is, with some places are just not made for thousands of crowds. For example, Barcelona is a city with 1.5 million population, but 30 million tourists visit this place every year. So this place is not just supposed to have that many tourists. And of course, I hate standing in the line to the art gallery, but there are also some of the solutions to this issue. You can choose to go to these places a bit earlier or a bit later. So you can avoid the time when most of the tourists go there. So it's not the social media fault, it's mass tourism or undeveloped infrastructure. Another point is that people like me actually love taking pictures, and I still love taking pictures and being socials with my parents.
All right, time's up.
Okay.
Thank you, Kate. Very, very good points. Now, and Mahal, any questions, judgments, doubts?
Yeah, so I have a question to the friend team right now.
Mhm.
So I was wondering, because I also agree that you have to take everything in moderation, so as to not to focus everything into your social media. But I was still wondering, do you feel like in these times, because, for example, if you go somewhere and you check it first on social media, even if you don't focus so much on social media, you might still be disappointed in a way when you get there. So do you feel that there might be disappointments just because you saw something earlier on social media?
I will
Of
answer
course.
this because really smart. I let you because when you
sorry,
see
Alex.
advertising
This
online,
time-
when you see
Alex?
advertising,
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, this
That's
time
Kate.
only Kate can.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kate can
so
answer.
as I said, that
Yes.
of course we have some expectations. We're all humans, right? We have our own emotions, but at the same time, you must realize that some of the comments might be not real. Some of the comments might be real, but if you just go there and just say, I'm going to experience, it's my own travel, it's my own thing, and I'm just going to enjoy it the way it is. If you're just going to say that I'm here for the travel and for the experience, you might find something good out of this situation or that concrete place, even if that's not that perfect, because it's your own travel, it's your own experience, and that's why it's so unique, right? It's those little moments that make our travel such lovely memories and moments. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Right, thanks.
Thank you. And
I think the friends team already covered all the points I want to ask. So I actually want to ask the same question as Mahal. So I am fully convinced already. I don't have any questions.
oh, okay. You don't need to take more time, but I'll give you more time. Just take some time to decide which team you want to join. And before the show, we actually did a Vox Pop asking young people's opinion on this topic. So is social media a friend or foe? Let's see what they have to say.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely influences my travel decisions.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely yes.
I think I can get a lot of suggestions from social media, and it can really help me to come up with my plans.
You get lots of information from social media when I travel to an unfamiliar city.
I love travel blogs and travel videos. I think they're very interesting, fun, and they'll show you a part of the story of traveling.
就是比较喜欢分享一下自己的感受，发个朋友圈，发小红书。
I do use social media for research or when I'm in the place to find locations, find bars, restaurants.
When I do travel planning, I will consider that, especially for local hotels and restaurants.
I use it almost to think of where should I not go, so I can find someplace new and completely different.
应该不能说让我分心，就是如果没有它的话，我可能也不会玩的那么好。
Naturally, because when traveling, I tend to relax.
Not destructive, but it helps me a lot.
No, I don't get distracted by social media.
Specifically, I don't find myself much distracted with social media.
I'm not easily distracted by my cell phone or social media when I travel.
No, I don't get distracted by social media.
It can totally be a distraction. I think there's this whole concept in society now where it's like if you don't post it to social media, did it even happen? In general, now I try to avoid it.
Welcome back. I hope that brought you more ideas in the next round. Well, Anne and Mahal, now you're going to choose a team to battle together in the next round. What's your decision? Anne?
I think I will join the friend team.
Friend team, got it. And Mahal, what's your decision?
Yeah, it pains me to break the balance, but I want to join the friend team as well.
Congratulations, team friend. Woohoo! Now tell us the reason. Why did you two take this move?
I think both sides, have a very well speech, but personally, I really use social media for traveling tips, so that's why I joined the team.
Yeah.
Mahal?
And for me, I feel like it's all about taking things in moderation. And if you take social media in moderation when you travel, I feel like it's just a great thing to have in this day and age.
All right. Thank you. And congratulations again, team friend. Now we have the new lineup for the next round, 4 versus 2. At the same time, I see new audiences tuning in. We are having a debate here on the impact of social media for travelers. Is it helping, giving you travel guide and inspirations, or is it ruining your journey? I mean, creating fancy bubbles, expectations, and stealing too much time away from your vacation. What is your take on this? And we're currently streaming on various media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Weibo, WeChat, Bilibili, Yangshiping, and CGTN's official website. So which team do you support? Who's your favorite debater? What's your insight on this topic? Any travel stories you want to share with us? Join our discussions and send your comments below anytime with the hashtag What's the Talk. Now let's move on to the next round. This is going to be a free debate session. So each team has 4 minutes in total. We added 1 minute to each team. So we have a timer on the screen. Remember to keep an eye on it. Well, Anne and Mahal, you are going to debate with your new team together in the session. But remember, you have a chance to turn code afterwards, meaning that you can change your mind depending on how the session goes. So use it wisely. Now, this time we start from Team Friend. Short notice that Team Friend, we have 4 debaters this time, but again, you only have 4 minutes in total. Yeah, so use it wisely. Keep an eye on the timer. Who wants to take the lead?
I can go first. For me, social media is just an efficient tool for messaging. Like I can learn about the tourist attraction from my friends, my family, my colleagues, or on a website, a book, a magazine, but I can also learn that from social media. So information from people around you, from books or from social media can all be subjective. The biggest difference between social media and other media is just it's more efficient. And the full team is mostly concerned that the information on social media is misleading. However, the fact is that you would never know the answer until you really do it. People always hope to make their decisions after they know the answers, but that's never going to happen. No matter like what the social media tells you about the place, either good or bad, you will have to prove it by going there in person and getting the information on social media. So that's why I think we'll win this debate.
Thank you. And actually, I think I have a little question for team because mostly the argument is about people are not disciplined and are not behaving while doing social media. So what's your point actually? Are you saying people, they don't know how to use social media? This is a problem? That's the only thing that I don't understand in the 4 team. All the arguments they say, it's about people, they don't know how to act. So what's a real argument that, okay, it leads to some very sad things. You talk about some murder, some people died, but I mean, in life, not because of social media, all the life there's this. So give me a real point. Why social media is bad if you know how to use them? Of course, you need to know how to use them.
All right, Team Foe, questions, judgments, doubts?
Keegan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I would say social media, we're not saying that people, I mean, I know you guys know how to use it, but there's definitely many people who don't know how to use it. I feel like social media leads a mob mentality to society, people who are really strict to following the construct of the society we live in. And many of these people aren't very aware or just don't care about their actions. So it's not about the few who use social media in moderation, but the mass who uses social media blindly and floods to these tourist attractions.
I have a question for the FO team. So you mentioned that some of the places that are very small and not supposed to have many tourists develop their businesses. So my question to you is, are these places alive thanks to social media, or should they be suffering because they don't have economies? This social media actually helps local economies. It makes tourism industry so bustling. It gives so many new opportunities. And of course, these places are happy to have that many tourists. Otherwise, this place would be dead and the local economy would be dead. So is it our friend or is it our foe at the end?
So it's absolutely our fault. And let me give you a reason and respond to what Alex mentioned as well. I agree, people should use it for moderation. And there is a fundamental difference between what Anne mentioned about media and social media or information on the internet. It's the social aspect, or actually, I would say the company aspect. So I added another dimension, talking about the algorithm. So people can use moderation, but algorithm don't. Algorithm don't have feelings. They will push you information until the moment that you leave the platform and until the moment you ruins it. So the reason, yes, for small places, it might be a good friend for a while, but until this really, really good friend of yours become a really, really bad one and ruin the experiences for everyone that is in the area, everyone that's traveling, or everyone is not even been there yet. So that is our point, is that it is a good friend up to a certain extent, and then everyone around the world is paying a very, very steep price for this.
And I'd also like to respond to Kate's. I would say, yes, it can be a friend of local economies in certain areas, but say for a country like Canada, that's not a very populated country, and we do have really high labor costs, and basically the cost of things in general is balanced out based on the amount of tourists we have in general and normally. So I feel like for a lot of these local places actually can sustain themselves on the local economy and the local tourist attractions. I feel like the influx in tourism actually harms more than it helps. Just like I said, the sunflower farm, they were forced to shut down because of the large amount of tourists. And in a lot of these rural areas, you would have to have a lot of, I guess, almost city-like development to support such crowds. If you want to put big parking lots in farm areas that has some of the richest soil in our country, that just wouldn't work out very well.
All right, team friend. Mahal, you've been very quiet. Do you have any arguments to make?
Because so my team expressed my questions in a great way as well, but I also have one thing that I wanted to mention. So we're talking about the topic of, is social media travelers friend or travelers foe? And so apart from casual travelers, like I guess you and me, that just travel in their holidays, I wanted to mention professional travelers. So for example, people that really like make their living off of traveling. And in this, I think for them, social media has been just a total revolution, because before social media, you would have to gather funds from some sponsors, maybe get a TV deal to be a professional traveler. And right now, I think there is no real discussion in this topic that it really helped people become pros with their patrons, maybe their influencers. It's a lot safer for them. And I was wondering, like everyone, what's your opinion on this? Like, because I feel it has become easier to become a professional traveler, and it's also become safer because you have all those followers that can help you.
I can just say something. I'm also like amateur live streamer sometimes, just amateur, and many people do live stream on Twitch or other platform, never mind, many platforms, and you can travel by staying at home, you travel with a person, and that's what I want to answer to you is some people will just take their camera and go to show some food, go to many countries, Japan, and have a live stream. That's my answer.
All right, anyone else? Questions, judgments, doubts? Team foe?
I guess I'll make a judgment. I would say when they say social media helps us dig deeper, I would argue that it restricts. For many of my travel experiences, I find like those who are so stuck on social media don't really get to explore very deep the local culture. In most of my experiences, I've put away my phone and went and communicated with the local people and found out where people would go more in these rural areas or outside the cities, and the areas that are away from the tourist attractions, but just as nice as the tourist attractions. Recently, when I was in Fujian, I went to see the famous Tulo buildings, and I had a local driver who was taking me around, but instead of just going to the main tourist sites, he brought me to a lot of the local villages that were not commercialized and still inhabited just in the natural way they were maybe 100 or 200 years ago. And that was a much deeper experience where I got to learn a lot more than I would have learned from just going to the tourist sites that everyone goes to.
Yeah, so I have a point to add as well. My point is that social media actually makes travel so much more cross-cultural, fun, and diverse. Before, if you wanted to travel overseas, you were largely walking into uncharted territory unless you had a friend or a family member that lived there. So you were essentially flying blind. This also made tours quite popular, so you could pay someone to show you and other travelers around. Now, social media allows us, complete strangers from different countries that share the same interests and tastes, to connect across the globe, either online or sometimes through in-person.
All right, time's up for Team Friend. Thank you. And Team Foe, Keegan and Enoch, you still have 41 seconds to conclude your arguments. This is your last chance to impress Anne and Mahal.
So Anne and Lahore, listen. So perhaps the biggest aspect of social media is really it is taken away the charm of destination for me. The magic of travel has always been discovering the unknown. But with social media, there has been an overkill, and you can virtually visit a destination through your smartphone with features like, stories or WeChat moments or Facebook. The pressure to constantly update has only been mounting. So seeing every meaningful travel experience through your phone screen, coupled with the obsession to tell the world what you have been doing, has been linked with anxiety and depression. That's not from me. That's from the social media platform, Facebook itself.
Yeah, at least.
All right. Time's up. Thank you, Team Flo. Thank you, everyone. Now, and Mahal, take a second here to think about your final decision. Now, let's read some comments from viewers. I see a lot of comments coming in. On YouTube, there's a viewer named Joseph. Says, I remember my first international holiday in 2010. It was to beautiful Thailand, and I took maybe 3 photos only because I knew that I wanted to focus my attention on experiencing the moment, not uploading to Facebook. I think we mentioned that earlier. And then there's also another viewer called D-Star on YouTube. He says, life after 2010 has been pretty unenjoyable. Everyone's already done everything and now documented it. That there's very little mystery or surprise left in this world. We've never been smaller, and that's not a good thing. Well, I think this is a very interesting point. Social media, we talked about it earlier. Yeah, social media does change our lives in many ways. It reminds me of a popular saying, if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. I'm sure all of you heard it before. So what do you think of it? And you probably are the most active social media user here. What's your take on this?
Well, I actually, I'm a social media influencer, so that's why I have to insist on, social media is always the traveler's friend. Well, I think, because in my experience, I always use social media to get the traveler's tips and find a place to go and find a good restaurant, find a good tourist attraction. So I think social media is definitely a good buddy for the travelers.
All right, anyone else? Because we do use social media like Instagram to post everything about our life. What do you think of if you didn't document it, it didn't happen?
I think people are being too caught up in proving themselves to other people. It's like, I'm going here to show everyone that I'm going here. I'm traveling to show people that I have the money to travel or the time to travel or the money to go to these restaurants. I feel like people have stopped doing things for themselves and doing it for the audience.
Well, my point is that it really depends on your attitude, right? Just as I said in my arguments. So you can always make a choice, right? To experience or to go there for a picture, right? So the choice is 100% yours, and it's not social media's fault. You can always blame something for what's happening in your life. You can always say that social media is ruining my life, but it's not. You're doing it in your own head, in your own mind. So you just pick up your attitude and you make your choice.
I think we're only blaming social media because social media is giving a reason for us to blame them because of how they're ruining it. So I think my thought is don't get obsessed with posting your adventure on social media, right? I want to share something that one of my really good friends does. Like, he take picture, but don't post them until afterward. And I think this way you're still documenting your trip, but you're not. You don't have this urge and obsessed over this perfect picture and perfect filters that you use. And I think my last point is use social media to inspire your trip, but don't let it to dictate your itinerary.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to comment on Enoch's point because I think it sums up the debate perfectly, that the social media for traveling has those two sides in a way. So you have the side of always being online, and then the side of using social media to inspire your travels, to find something that you might not have found otherwise. And I guess there's one part, that's why I took the neutral route, is that I don't feel the part of always being online, always posting. This is, I think, a traveler's foe. But the part about finding stuff, being a traveler's friend, I think it's also a strong thing for social media when traveling. So yeah, just take those two parts apart, maybe leave one at home, and go travel.
Yeah, I want to conclude like you. Social media is something that comes with internet. Of course, the internet culture. Nowadays, everyone can speak. In the past, no one has the right to speak because it's really private. But nowadays, everyone can have a media, have a way to express themselves. The thing is, some people will get addicted. They will get addicted to social media to share their life. A French rapper said, nobody listen, everyone speaks. Yeah, it's what's happening. Everyone shares their content and they don't listen to others. This is a problem right now, addiction to social media. But this is something we can control by time to time, and everyone will be used to it by the time it will be more popular. It's just the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to mention some. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to mention where they said that like this addiction to social media where you have the choice, and of course you do have the choice. I use it, but I'm not addicted to it, and I wouldn't say it influences my traveling. But I would say, as for the general populace, a lot of people do follow, like, basically like sheep's following a shepherd, and follow social media very, very closely. And I was also saying, I also thought how Enoch said one of his friends posts after. I do exactly the same thing. I'm still posting photos from half a year ago. I like to just enjoy it in the moment. I take a film camera with me every time I travel, and the places I find most beautiful, I take one shot of. And I still haven't developed the film. I may develop it in a year or something, and just wait for the surprise. I feel like traveling should be more about the surprise and the exploration as opposed to just the posting.
But do you think this was not happening already before social media? For example, there is something posted in newspaper in the 80s, and everyone will go to the newspaper in 80s. It's just now that we have more choices and more opportunity.
I think the difference is that social media now is causing a lot more issues than it is good. In these local areas, it's causing lots of disturbance to many places, where if you're saying back when travel wasn't as convenient and the world wasn't as connected, people might see these things, but you're not getting an overly amount of tourists, flying to this place the next day. If you're talking 100 years ago, place in the newspaper, I couldn't, be there by tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's just the international side of it. It's not about social media. It's just about internationalization, globalization of everything.
Yes.
But it's social media that is globalizing everything.
Yeah, it's social media, but it will come anyway with internet. If it's not social media, it was
what I added, Alex, is the algorithm aspect of it, and people, like I think someone mentioned about professional travelers. There are now professional travelers just literally look for what is popular and try to copy this so that they get likes and traffics. This is social media. This is not just internet and media separate. This is an algorithm of social media and people who understand what works, what will bring them ads, what will bring them followers, therefore they're copying it. And this is how social media ruining travelers, ruining the travel experience and the magic of discovery.
Enoch, I have to disagree with you, because there is one part of influencers who are going onto this hashtags, onto these trends, but there is also a different part of travelers who also want to explore and share their explorations and their joy and their experience and give you really some good advices, because it's their profession, it's their job, they're making their dreams come true, and they want to share the good things and the good parts of their travelers and traveling with the audience.
Great, and I recognize that, and they're the leader of professional travelers, but unfortunately, the huge pack of them are followers, the followers of professional travelers. They are the one who ruining it. I'm not discrediting people such as Anne, who are a professional influencer, and they do their own thing with origin ideas, but there are tons of people online now are just taking advantage of this, of this algorithm, and just going with the algorithm such that they can become popular. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of people who try to copy Anne, but they can't because Anne is so good. So I think, this is what is happening on social media right now, and this only happened in the era of social media.
And I think it's not just a social media.
I'm reading some comments that's saying social media is actually a double-edged sword. There's a viewer from YouTube named Honorary America. He says, just as an observer who hasn't been to the place before, I think it's a friend enlightening to all of those who can't be there themselves. But if I were on vacation only, I believe it will be a foe. With limited time, it's better to just absorb the experience. I wouldn't have time or inclination to share my experiences in such circumstances. And there's another viewer from Facebook called Mingyue. I think she is echoing many of your views before. She says social media is more like a tool. People should not blame tools for the negative effects caused by inappropriate use of tools. So I think, yeah, those are another good points. Whether good or bad, it actually depends on us, right? How we use social media. And I see there are so many comments coming in. Yeah. Another YouTuber, East Place, he says it's good to find new places to visit. But in general, leave the experience until you're there. Plan too much and the variables may disappoint. Yeah, guys, do you have anything to add?
I'd like just to point out with what Enoch was saying about the professional travelers and basically as followers and less as their own unique professional traveler, basically sharing things that haven't been shared before. I would say the problem is not just with social media, I think it's just society in general nowadays. It's not about who's unique and talented anymore, it's about what's trending. If you look in the music industry, if you look in, because I guess I'm often involved with many artists in the art industry, if you look in lots of these industries, a lot of them have been commercialized, or a lot of the artists just do what's trending. They're not doing it to be this unique artist that stands out amongst the rest. There are those artists, but they're few and far apart. A lot of them are doing it for, obviously, money. And then another one is to be trending. People, you know, I feel like the trend is, it's what's trending now. And then the next year, this artist is trending. Then the same with music. This guy's trending now. And the next year, he's trending. And a lot of musicians have actually mentioned it in their songs as well, about how, you know, people are popular now. And then the year after, you're not, but I'm still going to last for the ages. These people who are going to last for the ages nowadays are few and far apart and less and less and less, as I feel like society has become about what's trending and not about that unique experience anymore.
So in the 90s, people didn't follow what is trendy before internet and social media?
Yeah, I really wanted to expand on this because I feel like if we are talking about music and traveling in this space, then imagine an artist or a traveler in the 70s or 90s, they would have to you have to do the popular stuff to even get a brand deal, to even get some studio time, to maybe get some TV airtime for your travels. So I would say, well, I agree that most people, for example, who listen to the popular music, maybe they watch the popular travelers, maybe they just watch about, I don't know, Paris or some really popular destinations, but it's never been a better time to be on the other side of the spectrum, because even if you're an aspiring, really underground musician, or if you're a traveler, for example, I know travelers from Poland who go around Middle East a lot in their travels. It's quite a niche destination from our perspective, and they're still finding their audience. Like before social media, it would be really hard to convince some TV manager, or as you said, in the case of band, like convince some recording company to make this crazy idea. But in this day and age, you can actually make it yourself with the tools that you have, because usually all you need is a phone. Maybe your phone already has a camera, it has a microphone. Of course, it's not the most professional, but you can still start with it. And if you might find your audience, maybe it won't be the biggest audience in the world. And to have the biggest audience in the world, it might be better for those people to just follow trends and do what's the most popular. But I would argue that for the people who are in the underground, who have really original ideas, this is a great time to do it, because they can find their audience more easily through social media.
So just to go on the music example a little bit, this is why a great music lovers, when they go to a concert, or even I would say moviegoers, they won't go into a concert and live stream the whole entire music concert to ruin the experience of others, or moviegoers to go in the cinema and go and talk about bits about the movies, or even live stream the whole entire movies. Those are the things that are ruining the experience and the magic behind all these experiences. And this is what we are talking about in traveling, is that let people discover the experience itself, let people experience both the goods and the bads, and we don't need to do this on social media because it ruins the experience itself.
Enoch, what you're saying is just one side of this issue. The thing is that
I understand, because you're on this side, I'm on this side.
Not all the people have the resources and money to go to this concert. I am right now in China. Some people are in the US, and I want to watch the concert in the US. However, I cannot go there. I want to follow that concert, following his or her social media. So he is letting me enjoy this experience. And this is like the magic that social media also brought to my life.
But these friends of yours are also forcing those who do not want that experience to have that experience. This is not choice. This is forcing everyone to do that. And the thing is, it's not about self-discipline either, because the social media platform will push this information to you because they know you like this artist A, B, and C. So it is about social media. It is about algorithm. It is about the recommendation system itself. And again, this is not coming from me. This is coming from Facebook, the platform, which say obsession, which say different emotions that drive behavior. And this is not about self-discipline anymore when the tool itself are evil themselves.
And I would say is
all right, guys. Yeah, one last speaker.
I was going to say, as far as trends go, yes, of course, there's always been trends. Historically, there's always been trends throughout history. But I would say the lack of social media in history allowed for also a lack of connection. And that lack of connection didn't bring as much influence on individual places, which allowed them to develop their own unique cultures or qualities or art styles. If everyone was influencing everyone, things would be more and more the same.
All right, thank you guys. I know you all have a lot to say, but let's talk about travel experiences here. I know you also made a video sharing your most memorable destinations. So let's take a look at a video.
What travel destination surprised or frightened you the most?
I recently traveled to Vieques. It's a small island in Puerto Rico. Well, the whole trip is kind of frightening because the hotel we stayed at was top ranked, but it looks like a haunted house.
Definitely Prague, the capital of Czech Republic. I've been there so many times on exhibitions, concerts, visiting friends, or just hanging out with my girlfriend, and we never get bored.
One of the more recent experiences I had was on a trip to Huangshan, and the unique, almost abstract shape of the snow-covered pines were very pleasant to observe. And we sat upon one of the cliff tops, brewing tea, and watched as the clouds gave way to the mountain peaks, only to disappear moments later.
I think for travel it was in Galway in Ireland. And here you can find so many kind people, they all talk to you kindly. Also here I tasted the best pizza in my life, it was amazing.
I was really surprised when I went to Bali, Indonesia. Bali is considered to be one of the most popular spot destinations. However, when I arrived there, I was really surprised because all the Instagram photogenic spots were actually tiny places with a ton of tourists over there. And the area around that place was quite dirty and crowded.
I have to say it's Johannesburg, South Africa. That was the first time I stepped onto the African continent, and little did I know that in some parts of the city is even more developed than the developed world.
Wow, you guys do travel a lot. It makes me want to start another trip now. So, but I do have one question. For those travel experiences you mentioned, were you influenced by social media? How was your experience with social media back then?
Anyone want to start?
Anyone?
Well, go ahead. No. Well, I actually visit the Vieques official website. It's a government website, so I didn't actually follow the social media, and I searched for the best bay that I can go scuba diving, and the toppest ranked bay is a Mosquito Bay, or I actually forgot the name. But when I go there, it's nothing like what the website recommends. But that's a government official website. So what I'm telling here is that no matter social media or the government-owned official website or any other stuff, those are subjective. The information there are not really what you think, probably be what you think. So just don't blame the social media for giving you the misleading information, because everyone just do whatever they want, and you can't blame social media for being subjective.
Thank you, Keegan.
Yeah, I would say when I went to Huangshan, it wasn't really influenced by social media at all. I contacted a potter friend of mine in Longquan. They make Chinese celadon, and basically I just messaged them up a few days before and said, "Hey, let's meet up in Huangshan and go hiking." And what actually influenced me to want to travel there was not social media as well. It was actually a Chinese photographer, I think back in the 60s or 70s, And I was really amazed by his pictures of Mount Huang, and I wanted to go there for a while in the winter, but also to choose a time where there weren't many tourists. We got pretty lucky because we went a week after the Chinese New Year, so everyone was kind of heading back to work, and it snowed. It was probably one of the last snowfalls of the winter, and so yeah, it was quite a wonderful experience, and we were completely separated from social media the whole time.
Thank you. And tell us about South Africa. You spent quite a long time there.
Sure, yeah. So it's really the beginning of my 3 years trip in Africa. It's quite an amazing starting point, I have to say. So it's really a foreign. It's called foreign tourism, so volunteering plus tourism, and of course then I didn't really use social media because I think this is where it brings the surprises, right? I think if I were to use social media back then, I would have all those surprises would have been taken away from me, good or bad surprises. So I think with this volunteering plus social media, volunteering plus tourism, you really get to dig deep into the community itself. You get to live and you get to work with the local community on a charity, on the issues that matter to you. And I think in this way you get to better understand the local community itself. And I think that's what inspired me to then later go to Ghana, to Tanzania, to different African countries. And it's a beautiful continent. I recommend anyone to do in a safe way after COVID.
And Kate, yeah, tell us about Bali. I know that's a very hot spot, right, for traveling. It's very hot on social media. What was your experience there?
In my case, social media was totally my friend because I booked hotel because of the, social media posts and friends' recommendations on social media. So that's how I booked the hotel. That's how I searched for the local restaurants, bars, beaches, and places to hang out. But it certainly didn't spoil my experience because I also tend to post my pictures on Instagram and other social media after my travel itself. And I don't spam with stories. I just choose to enjoy it. So in my case, it was totally a friend. And a few weeks ago when I went to Sanya, it was also a friend of mine because I looked for all of the spots where I wanted to go, and all of my friends recommended some of the restaurants, bars, hotels through the ranks on social media. So it's totally a friend of mine during traveling.
Thank you. Alex, what about you?
So I was in Dublin and I was searching for a place in Ireland to visit, and that's where I was influenced. It's because I wanted to check not too big but interesting place. So Galway was perfect. It's not big. It's a village, but really big and lots of tourists, but moderate. And actually, when I go here after, I didn't get influenced because I got the Airbnb and I could chat with the host, and the host lead me to some tourist points. And at this time, actually, I was more active on social media, but it was the time I got exploited and I actually posted nothing about it because I just wanted to be not free, but just enjoy it. No need to use social media.
Thank you. Mahal?
Yeah, so about my travels to Prague, I guess I would say my travels to Prague came in layers. So I made sure that on my first visit, I went to a concert, actually. What was my first time in Prague. And we went only for a couple of days. And we really wanted to see those top tourist spots anyway. But still, I feel in this way, social media could have made my travels a bad experience. But at the same time, I always try to dig a bit deeper. So we found, for example, certain hours where you can see those top spots without being overcrowded. But the layers I mentioned it's kind of every time you went, we tried not to repeat ourselves. So our first visit was those top spots. Then the second visit was lesser known spots. And then it became just layer after layer. And there's just so many layers, so many beautiful pubs, so many beautiful monuments, stuff like this. And even I have a lot of great experiences, even just, let's say, walking around Old Town and maybe just stepping into a random bar in a random alley, and it's still great. So yeah, I think social media was in general my friend because while it could have been my foe if I stepped into the top tourist spots on the top time and just drown in the crowd of people in there, but because I dug a bit deeper, I got to see those places in those lesser, in times where there were less people. And then social media allowed me to see all those lesser known places, all that I might not have known about.
All right, thank you guys. And now is the time. So Mahal and Anne, tell us your final decision after so many arguments back and forth. Are you going to turncoat?
I'm happy with where I am.
Cool. Mahal?
Yeah, so I have to say I still feel a bit neutral because I feel the whole team and that the experience can be a little bit samey if everyone goes to the same places. But at the same time, it's so much easier to connect with locals, so much easier to find events, so much easier to find new places that I'm not turncoating, staying in the team.
Okay, congratulations, team friend. 4 versus 2.
Woo-hoo, victory.
Congratulations. Well, but again, like we said at the beginning of the show, there's no right or wrong arguments because social media is a double-edged sword. It actually depends on how you utilize it. And I remember there was a comment went like, let whatever happens be the experience to discover and learn. The good or bad doesn't come into it. Both are stories when recounting our lives. So I think that concludes our talk today. Thank you so much, everyone, for your inspirational ideas and words. And thank you so much for watching What's the Talk. I hope you've learned something. If you have any more questions or concerns, comment and let us know. Remember to follow us and hope to see you in the next episode of What's the Talk. Thank you. Bye-bye.